Hey YouTube, it's Libra Finesse here with another video. Oops, gotta get my camera right. I hit record before I even tried to get anything in alignment, but here we are in alignment. Um, Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for visiting. Thank you all for your DMs, your emails. I really appreciate all of that. And I'm getting to the point where um, I'm going to do a segment on the Ask a Libra post that I put on my Instagram. Again, thank you for all of the emails that I received. I was going through the emails again, printing them off, writing them out, and looking at a lot of the questions. And there's some pretty good questions, I have to say. Like, you guys are really, you guys kind of put some thought into that. I was reading some of them and I'm like, wow, okay, they really put some thought into that. So I have to put thought into how I'm going to answer those questions. Again, thank you. So today I want to talk about relationship roles. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the teacher-student role in relationships, not relations with teacher-students. Let's put that out there. Let's get that clear. They were talking about relationships, intimate relationships, where you've been in the moment of you being a student and you being a teacher. Share your mind with me in the comments below. Let me know the role that you've played. I can honestly say that in many of my relationships, I've played both roles. I played the teacher and the student role. Like, I'm that type of person where I can be submissive. I can shut up and listen. I can be respectful. So I can be that student. But in other times, I feel like I have to be the teacher because I feel like a lot of us, at some point in a relationship, you have to be the teacher because no one comes into a relationship knowing how to treat you. You teach a person how to treat you. So at that moment, you become the teacher. When they're teaching you how to treat them, you're the student. I had one person in my email ask me, do you feel like the woman should be the student majority of a relationship? Hell no. I don't feel like that's fair. Being a student and being submissive are two different things, which you have to understand. Being a student is okay. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. I'm going to soak up this knowledge. I'm going to soak up the information being taught to me. Being submissive is okay. To me, that's on a higher level of, okay, I'm going to let my man lead. I'm going to follow his lead. I'm going to give him the respect and the honor of being a man. Letting him lead, letting him provide, listening to his instruction, following his lead. To me, that means being submissive. I know a lot of women, I've heard women talk about it even on YouTube and on Anchor podcast. Shout out to Anchor. Where women will talk about, oh, I'm not going to be submissive because that means I'm being like a slave to my man and blah, blah, blah. It's how you take it. And it's how your man treats you. You know, it's based on how you look at that whole aspect of being submissive. Submissive to me does not mean, oh, you beating my ass, I'm loving you. You beating my ass, I'm cooking for you. You putting hands on me. You abusing me mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally. That's not submissive to me. But a lot of people hear that when they hear submissive, like, oh, I have to bow down and kiss his ass and worship the ground he walks on. No, you're allowing that person to lead. You're following their lead. You're being submissive, like, okay, I trust you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to respect you. That's what it means to me. But to each his own, you know. I feel like a teacher-student relationship, in an intimate relationship, the roles are reversed so often. You can never say, okay, I'm gonna be the teacher for the next 6 months and this is how it's gonna go. No. Every day you should go into something. You should go into life with a learning attitude. What can I learn from this instance? What can I learn from this relationship? What can I learn today? That's how you should wake up every day and go into life. I go forth into life with a learning attitude, with a growing attitude. Like you should look for growth in everything, I feel. So I feel like a teacher-student role in the relationship is ever vacillating. It's the man, it's the woman, it's the woman, it's the man. You know, I don't like when people are like, oh, I'm where I'm at in life and I can't nobody tell me shit and I ain't gonna learn shit from nobody because blah, blah, blah. You never know who you're gonna learn anything from. Like I said, go forth into life with an open attitude. Go forth into life with an open mind. Because you don't know who you're gonna learn anything from. And it sucks, but some people are sexist. Not only men, but women too. Some women feel like, shit, I know everything. I don't need no man because he can't show me shit. He can't do nothing for me. No, we should not think like that. And men too. Oh, she a woman. She don't know what she talking about. No, don't feel like that. The teacher-student role is ever vacillating. Sometimes it's a man, sometimes it's a woman. Sometimes it's a woman, sometimes it's a man. Know that you can learn from your mate, your spouse, your whoever the hell you want to call it. Know that you can learn from them in any facet of life. You can learn something from them. Like, if you don't have an open mind going into a relationship, it probably won't last long. Because when that person wakes up and sees like, hey, this is what I have to offer. I have so much more to give. And you're not willing to allow that person to be themselves and to give and sometimes be the teacher in the relationship, you're going to lose out on a good person. Because you feel like you're the teacher all the time. No, you're not the teacher all the time. You know how many teachers you can interview and they will say they learn so much from their students, whether it's another way, another form of caring, another form of communication, another form of just showing love. Like, teachers learn from their students too. It's not just a one-way street in that aspect. You know, and we can take that into our relationship. Go into your relationship looking like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? You know, and not saying that it's not going to work out, but hell, if it doesn't work out, how many relationships can you say that you've had that you've learned something positive from? And even if we've learned negative things, like, okay, a lesson is a lesson is a lesson is a lesson. Whether you learn something good or you learn something, I don't want to really say bad, but it's like, okay, I know not to do that again. Or I know that I don't like to be treated that way. It's still a lesson within itself. It's still a lesson overall. So I feel like people shouldn't go into relationships saying, oh, I'm not going to learn nothing and it's my way or the highway. No, because you'll be on that highway alone. It'll be a lonely ass highway. It will. It truly will, because you have to go in with respect. The same respect that you want that person to give you, you have to be willing to give that respect too. In that role. You know, sometimes, hell, like I said, the teachers learn from the students. It's not the students always learning from the teachers. We have to be able to switch hats. We have to be able to hand that baton over. When you're running those races, you know, when you're running track and you got to hand that baton over, be willing to hand that baton over. Don't just keep fucking running because you think it's all about you and you're going to win a race. No, hand that over. Give it to that other person and they'll give it back to you. It's like a revolving door. You know, be willing to come and go with information. Be willing to be that teacher when you need to be that teacher. Be willing to be that student when you need to be that student. Like, don't ever close yourself off from learning. And not even just in relationships. Overall, I feel like we should learn every day. There's something to learn. Don't ever go through life like, oh, I'm good where I'm at. I don't need nothing else. No, my thing in life, there's always room for improvement. People get a place in their life and they're comfortable there, and that's fine, but there's always room for improvement. Don't ever feel like I'm good here and this is my stop. This is it. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. Whoever come in my life, they're going to do shit the way I want them to do it, or they can get the fuck on. Yeah, they'll get the fuck on and you'll be lonely. Take heed to that. Take heed to, okay, I can be the teacher today and I can be the student tomorrow, or I can be the teacher this hour and I can be the student the next hour. Like, always have that open mind and be willing to see the goodness and see what someone else has to offer, because it's not always about you. Like, I've had teachers before, even in high school and in college, where it was really hard to learn from them because they weren't receptive. They weren't the type of teacher. They'll get up in front of the class and it's my way, the highway. Don't ask me nothing. This is how it's supposed to be. And we're not going to look at no new ways for it to be. And that's it and that's all. It's hard to learn from somebody like that because they're not receptive to seeing things. Okay, well, maybe if we take this way to do it, it'll be easier. Like, I love getting new clients and going to their offices, and they're like, if you have any ideas on how things can be done different, like how our billing can be done different, how we can set up things for our customers to be done at an easier pace, they can arrive to things at an easier form, fashion, way. I love that because that tells me that they're receptive to my ideas. They didn't call me in to consult or do bookkeeping for them and say, okay, this is how it is. This is how I want it. This is how it needs to be. No, if that's the case, you need to do it your damn self. You always, always, always should have an open mind to everything in life. Everything. Look, there's always room for improvement in your business, in your home, in your relationships, in your family life, in your personal life, inner self. There's always room. Always room to grow. Always room to grow. Don't ever feel like, okay, this is it and this is all, because you stunt your own growth. At any age, you can be 26 or 48. You can stunt your own growth when your mind gets to that point where it's like, okay, that's it and that's all. I'm not accepting no new applications. Everything is my way and that's the way it's gonna be. Look around. If you get to that point, look around and see what a lonely life that is. I love getting feedback from other people. Even when I don't feel like it's of any substance, I'll listen to it. Like, okay, my thing is that, okay, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Like, even if I can't grow from it, or if I feel like I can't pull anything from any of the information you're giving me, I still respect it as, okay, I'll be that student in that moment so that you can be that teacher in that moment. Granted, I might have not gotten anything from it, but I'm going to give you that respect. I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to give you the floor, like my old teacher, Mr. Davis, used to say. Don't walk the floor when he's on the floor. I'm going to give you that floor just so that I can see, because if I close my mind off to it and I'm like, you know what, this motherfucker ain't got nothing to say to me, I want to hear nothing he has to say, I might be shorting myself somewhere, because it may be some information that I can gain from you. So sometimes we have to take that role, sit back and be the student. And if you don't gain anything from it, you just don't gain anything from it. That's okay. But my thing is, don't close your mind off to where you're always going to be the teacher in a relationship. You're never going to be the student. Those roles vacillate. You have to understand that. You have to understand that, hey, I don't know every fucking thing. Somebody can teach me something at times. Like, we have to open ourselves to that. And that means opening your mind, your body, your soul. Open yourself wholly to the fact of learning from someone else, because you don't know everything. You really don't. Everybody, I don't like when people are like, oh, I know it all, and this is this and this and that, and I'm always right. No, you're not always right. And if you take the time to hear someone out, or take the time to actually be that student in a relationship, you'll probably gain something. Even if it's an inkling, a drippling of some information. Hey, what's learned is what's learned is what's learned is what's learned. Like I said, a lesson is a lesson is a lesson is a lesson. You may learn from bits and pieces of the lesson. You may not take on the whole lesson. You may not feel like that whole lesson was meant for you. Like, I'll listen to certain videos, like on YouTube, and then I'll listen to podcasts and stuff. And even in life, like from my friends, I'll listen to things that they say, but everything does not resonate with me. Everything is not meant for me. Like, I'll take bits and pieces from what I want from it, and then let them have the rest of it. Like, okay, yeah, that's you, boo. That's all you. That's all you. But I can say that I walk away most of the time. I'll walk away with, okay, like a different aspect on things, like a different perspective, on things. So we have to understand in life that we're not always right. And when we are right, when we are right, don't be rubbing it in people's face, like smearing it like, I was right. Don't do that. I can't stand when people do that. I'm the type, I will give it to you, right? I'm like, oh yeah, you was right, babe. You were so right about that. But don't smear it. Don't spread it. Let me toot your horn and then we'll go about our business. Don't do that, because it makes you look arrogant. It makes you look conceited. It makes you look like, okay, yep, I knew I was right because I'm always right. No, bitch, you're not always right. You're not always right. And it's okay not to always be right. As much, me being a Libra, as much as I would like to be right all the time, I am wrong 55% of the time. I am wrong. And it's okay. It's okay. Like, I'm okay with, oh, I fucked up. Oops, my bad. It's okay. That other 45% of the time, it's okay. And that's not every day for me. Some days I'm 100% spot on, right on the money, in your face. Yep, smear it. No, I'm just kidding. But that other 45% of the time, I'm right. But I'll take that 55% of the time. I'll take that 63% of the time. Like, I might be wrong, and it's okay. And hell, sometimes I might be 75% right and the other 25 wrong. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. You don't always have to be right. And I love that about teachers. Even in my adult, going to college, like, if a teacher was wrong, they'll be like, oh, I was wrong about that. And it just opens up another level of respect. Even in a relationship, if my man comes and tells me, damn, babe, I was wrong. We was talking about such and such the other day, and he comes and tells me that he was wrong. Okay, I like that. I like that you can admit when you're wrong, because I can admit when I'm wrong. Just because you're the teacher at that given time does not mean that you are 112,000% right all the time. That does not mean that. That means you're in that role. We're doing the roles again. You're in that teacher role. I'm in that student role. I am learning from you. You're in that role, the teacher role, so that I can gain whatever knowledge that I don't have from you. Whatever bits and pieces. It may not be a full lesson. You might be teaching 4 lessons. Out of the 4, I might have resonated with 1, and that's okay. That's me, but you're in that role, so I'm going to give you that respect. I'm going to give you that attention that I should, as you being the teacher. And we're not just talking about in a classroom setting. Again, in relationships, it started off the roles in a relationship, the teacher-student role. Everybody plays it. You can't just hold on to it. Pass that baton, because you're not going to be the teacher all the time. You're going to be the student sometimes. You have to be comfortable being the student sometimes. Let me know what you think. Share your mind with me in the comments below. Let me know your experience on being in a relationship and having to be that student or having to be that teacher. Like, what role do you feel like you play majority of? It may be student, it may be teacher. You may be learning all the time, or you may be teaching all the time. But when you passing that baton, what are you getting back? When you're passing that baton, when you're the teacher and you're passing that baton to the student, and you become the student and they become the teacher, are you resonating with any of that? Are you gaining any knowledge from that? Let me know. It's Libra Finesse here.